Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. I am Lamborghini C and Happy New Year. I hope that your 2024 is off to a great start. I know it's good to be back. I feel like it's been so long since I've uploaded or gone live. And so we're back into the swing of things. But when I tell you the end of the year, oh my goodness, we went out of the end of this year of 2023 fast and furious. Actually, I feel like my 2024 actually started, well, actually it did. My 2024 actually started in December of 2023. And I'm grateful because I kind of gotten confirmation on that and a heads up as I was getting into it. So as all these different things started to happen and occur, I wasn't too put back by them, right? Or too shocked. So I was able to kind of roll with the changes and transition. And that's important, right? So, again, our topic today is Happy National Quitting Day, right? Or not Happy National Quitting Day. But apparently today, January 12th, has been coined. They're coming up with new holidays and what have you, but it has been coined as National Quitting Day. So there have been studies, and someone took the time to do some and they have determined that usually around the 12th day of the new year is when everyone begins to fall off of all those New Year's resolutions and all of those goals that they set in place for themselves. So that data is used in business, right? Because that's my focal point, right? For some of the different industries. So some of the restaurants know, specifically like your pizza places and things like that, they're able to kind of plan like in using that data because they know at least in the beginning portion of the year. And again, data has begun to show around till about the 12th, like people kind of pull back on ordering pizzas and things like that. So they see a little bit of calmness in their business. They see a little bit of a slowdown. And so it's good to have those metrics because then they know not to be alarmed. Because after the 12th hits, when people start falling off of those goals, then they begin to see an upward trend and an uptick in their business. With people said, you know what, to heck with this. I'm not going to the gym every day and just beginning to patronize them. But I thought that was so interesting because I'd never heard of the National Day of Quitting before. But again, I know that so many people get so hyped up on these New Year's resolutions and New Year, new them, and new commitments and things like that. And so I've been compelled to do a video or at least like have some dialogue around goal setting for this year. I did a video last year just kind of detailing how I go about my goal setting. I'm using that same or similar process. However, one of the things that's a little bit different, a lot of times I have my goals locked in at the end of the year before. So I go into the new year, vision boards created and things like that. That hasn't quite happened this year. And I feel okay with that. Now, I do have some things documented, and I'm working through like the process both for personal goals as well as business goals and defining things that will be my focus for this year, 2024. But I'm fine with not rushing it. And that's one of the things I wanted to have the conversation around because I encourage you not to rush it either. If you don't feel it in your spirit and, don't feel compelled, like you have to keep up with, again, many of you are on social media and you're seeing different others post, about, oh, they've got their goals locked down. They're already, ahead of their goals or what have you. I mean, goodness, we're the second week into the year and we just came off of retrograde. And this year is significant. The year 2024 is significant to me, at least. So my number is 44. I call myself a 44 resonator. I'm not going to go too far in detail around that. If you want to learn more about it, I'm sure you can like Google or, there's probably some YouTube videos to learn like a little bit more around that number, the 44 number, the duality and things like that. But those who have a bit of knowledge around numerology, you know that the number 4 means order, right? And like bringing things into order and or an organization, and things like that, and and measuring kind of where you are. And so for me, like the number 4 or 44 specifically kind of follows me. I see it oftentimes as when I'm in the midst of making huge decisions. It will appear, and that's my little confirmation, and it will appear in the weirdest ways, in the most, like unexpected ways. Like yesterday I was driving home from an appointment, and I happened to pull into a turning lane, and there was a yellow bus in front of me, and I happened to look up, and the bus number was 44. I said, I can't get away from it, but I'm thankful, for that. The other thing too I noticed as we were heading into this year 2024 is when you add the numbers up one way, it gives you 44. So I said, okay, this is my, we're in alignment here. This is my year. And then, if you add all of the numbers of, the 2024 together, they add up to the number 8. And again, number 8 has a significance as well. And so again, many that are familiar with numerology know that the number 8 means new beginnings and transition. And that is clearly the space that I'm in. And many of you may find that you're in that space too. But one of the things that, again, as we go through transition, I've touched on this before, and it's not always glamorous, guys, right? So many of us, again, it's nice that there's so many different quotes and things we can reshare on these social media pages of how, new year, new me. This is my year of transition, my year of growth, or many of us speak of ourselves that we are world changers, that we are history makers, and that we are leaders. And and I ask you, like, are you really? Like, begin to sit and measure, again, that number 4 again, and evaluate yourself to see, like, are you really operating in those spaces? So, for years, I've spoken those things over myself. And, last year, like, I had several moments of epiphanies where, I realized, wow, like I am really operating in my divine order and in my destiny. Like there were days where I would deal with individuals across 3 or 4 different countries, like literally. Like I may have been dealing with someone in China, in Nigeria, in Colombia, as well as my own country, the United States. And, and having significant, whether, it's that I'm paying them for services, if they're doing work for one of my businesses, or, well, really, mostly it was in business. And, and I thought, wow, like I would have never even imagined like 10 years ago or 5 years ago, heck, even 3 years ago, I don't think I would have even imagined that I would be reaching across nations in the way that I do, right? Across different language barriers in the way that I do. And, and you talk about creating history, right? Yeah, I'm a history maker, right? Many people recite these things over themselves. And again, the way in which we do conduct business, the offerings that we're able to offer our clients, I think, in some respects, they are a little bit outside of the box. We had in one of my businesses in particular, we had some monumental moments. Like we ended the year creating history for Edmund Enterprises, which I'm rocking my gear now. And so I can't be happy enough. I know that it's not because of me, but it's because of God, who I lean and depend on, to lead and guide me throughout my destiny. And so as I go into this year, with all of that being said, I know that it's so significant enough that I cannot rush my goals just to say that I have them done and out of the way. And I will tell you again, like, I know that's why it's so important to like be a studied person, to be a learned person, to to read, to learn things outside of like your normal little boxed in space, right? Because imagine had I not had the knowledge just around the numerology, around the retrogrades. Again, there's times where you can think, oh my God, like what is happening? Everything is going crazy, but knowing that, again, the number 8 means transition, and that I was stepping into transition, that was able to bring a little bit of calmness to me as I began to go through and experience some things personally as well as in the business space, right? I was forced to do some things that over the course of the last year, I know that I've been hearing from God, some changes that I needed to make, especially with my mix of clients, my client group mix, and really finding my niche, right? And where we really can, um, provide help and do it in a spirit of excellence. And so, I've had conversations with different business coaches, and different individuals that I've become, friendly with even. And, and I would say the things out loud, like, I know I need to make a change in this area, or we talk about some of the things going on, and it would lead to, again, those changes need to be made. And sometimes I can be slow to move. Sometimes I can be hard headed or think maybe, or second guess myself. And sometimes God has to let things get shaken up for me to move. And boy, were things shook. The tables were being shook, especially during that retrograde time period. But I say that to say, because I know that I am a world changer and I know that I am a history maker. I know that also history never looks like history when you're living through it. It oftentimes looks confusing and messy as you're going through it. And so because I know that, I have comfort in knowing that I am on the right path and I am on the right track. And again, it was important for me to come online today, especially knowing that today has been coined the National Day of Quitting, because I want to speak into your life that you will not quit. You shall not quit. You will win. You will keep going forward. It's important for you. It is beyond your goals or your dreams or your destiny. There's so many people that are on the outskirts, on the outside looking in, and they're peering to see what it is that you're going to do and what moves that you're going to make. And they're getting motivated just by seeing you go. So just as many people that hate, that have disdain because they keep seeing the successes, and they just keep seeing God manifesting in your life, right? And they keep seeing that his promises are coming forth. And so that's what they hate. That's what they're upset about. You can't focus on those things, right? Because he does things and he allows us to win, and he allows us to have the success and the achievements that we have, and to live like the elevated lifestyles that we live as an inspiration to others, as a witness to his works, right? And in people's lives and what they can have for themselves. And so it's so important for you to keep going and not to give up. But I want to speak to you and just let you know not to be discouraged. If you find yourself in a space where you may feel a little bit stuck, or like you just can't get past this hump to really close out, honing in on your goals, you might just be in the right space, especially if you are a highly spiritual person. Because like I said, this year, last year I feel like was highly spiritual, and I feel like this year is going to be the same year, if not that much more. Again, we're seeing it with all of the exposure that's coming forth, and that's not finished. And we're going to see some things occur in the world and in the economy that, again, it's going to veer from the perceptions that have been put out, from things that have been orchestrated, whether by the government, to kind of, have you think that things are going well, or, going a certain way. So it's going to be so imperative that you have the mind of Christ, that you are able to to have his sight, right? As you are maneuvering through this life, through this year, as you are making business decisions, as you are deciding where to invest, as you are deciding, like, even if you're in a workspace and you aren't in business, for yourself, if you get an opportunity to, hey, join this company, you need to make sure that you hear whether or not that is for you. Because how sad would it be for you to make a leap or jump into something that 4 or 5 months down the road, that company has to close, right? Or that fad is over. And I've talked to people for whom that has happened. A large part of what we did fourth quarter with my HR firm, we were in a huge, huge recruiting project. And so to the end, heard that story over and over again. Like, my company closed, I joined this other company, then 5 months later, they ended up having restructurings and so again, you don't want to get caught into those situations. The same even with business for yourself. You don't want to invest where maybe you should not invest, or maybe the timing is off, right? And so it's going to be so important that, again, as you are developing your goals, as you are identifying where you're going to spend your time, who you're going to spend it with. And so that's inclusive of who your clients are going to be, who are the people in your personal life that are going to get your time, who is going to get your money, like what organizations are you joining, who are you paying dues to, it's going to be so important that you have divine direction as you begin to make those decisions, because it's going to be crucial for this year. So again, the year 2024 is off, and I encourage you, keep going. Don't let this day stop you. Don't fall into the statistics. Again, it's the National Day of Quitting for some of them, but don't let it be for you. Have a great year. Bye.